Hey, welcome. So I did do StreamYards today to make it easier because I know some people are having a hard time with the with Melon app yesterday. So I still wanted to give everyone the countdown. So that's why I did it that way. Let me pull you guys up on YouTube. Hold on. Oh, all right. Yes, Jim is coming on. I sent him a link. I'm just waiting. So what happened today was Jim told me this morning, called me up. He said, guess what? Told me about the live. And thank you, Monica. Told me about the live, said that he had a surprise for me. He was bringing on WADSWORTH and the wife, and he hasn't been able to connect. So we're hoping that he still gets it on. I have him recorded saying that he was bringing them on. So it's not clickbait or anything. That's what I was told. couple of things I want to say. I personally am not in competition with any other creator, especially ones working this case. I did not know if Tyler was live. I had no idea. So I checked his channel earlier. I didn't see anything, but I am not in any type of competition with anybody. Anyone, you don't need to make an announcement. Anyone is free to go over there. Come over here. I don't know. But let me just put that out there. So let me also state, and I mean this very, very clearly. I don't like being told from chat, I should do this, I should do that, I should do that. I have no problems with people making opinions, but when there's 1,500 people in here, I would say anything over 5, and I'm on camera, I'm not going to be able to watch chat the way I normally do. So if someone wants to leave or they have a problem, you know where the door is. Nothing's going to stop you. I'm also going to say that she's there. I just saw her text us. I'm also going to say that I find it, all right, I'm just going to put this out there, and I'm sorry if I offend anybody. I don't care if I have Hitler on my panel, and Hitler's a big of a stretch, but I'm just saying that if I had Hitler on my panel, I expect none of my mods to say anything negative. And I know that most of my mods don't, but if it happens again, I will start pulling wrenches. Mods are not here to go at someone on my panel, because for every person that doesn't like someone on my panel, there's 5 people that like them. And we just need to, talk about your feelings in Discord, talk about your feelings privately, come to me privately, but I will not have it on panel. Same thing with subs, Patreons, members. If you have a problem with someone on my panel, please quietly leave, or, talk about it in Patreon, talk about it privately, text your friends, whoever. But it's very, very hard to run a panel when I see my own mods disrespecting a guest in any capacity. So my mods don't like it if someone disrespected me. It's kind of the same thing with my guest. So I just want to put that out there, and I just want to make that clear and know it for everybody. So with that said, my guest also has he now has a PayPal. He now has a PayPal link. So I'm waiting for him to get here. I will gladly drop that PayPal link. My mods already have it to put it in rotation. And I told him, I said, be prepared. You're going to get some feedback. And he said, that's okay. He goes, I've done a lot of work and I could use some money. I totally understand that. I told him I would push it. So you're going to see a PayPal link for Jim once he gets here, and go ahead and, PayPal him. He's done a lot for this case. He's done a lot for, make awareness of this case. And honestly, it's because of him. It's because of him that I have gained so many subs. It's because of him that Tyler has gained so many subs. It's because of him that No Thanks has gained so many subs. And I'm not too big to say that. I'm not above saying that. And I appreciate that with him. And I just want everyone to know that if they appreciate him, go ahead and PayPal him. And I have no problem with that at all. He is keeping the name out there. So, and why I'm wearing this? Because I choose to. So if you don't like it, I'm sorry you don't like my fashion choice, then don't wear a scarf yourself. But I like it, and it is what it is. So there's that. Jenny, and I understand that. I'm just saying that I really don't want people, I don't want him getting feedback for, oh my God, he's got a PayPal or whatever, because he deserves that PayPal. He does. Like, Tyler's made money. I've made money. No Thanks has made money. Well, why shouldn't he make money? So I'm totally, no, I'm not a vampire. So I am totally all, about dropping his PayPal and letting him, let him make money and everything else. I have no problem with that at all. So, and thank you guys. I couldn't decide if I was wearing my hair up or down, and I put it up and then I took it down and I put it up. I'm going to get into that. I told Jim that I was going to do a reaction video. The goal was to get these two people on the panel while we did the reaction video and let them respond since they know the family. But like I said, I'm still waiting for Jim. And Jim just said he didn't want to do another 6 hours. I said, believe me, I don't either. So there's that. And lastly, before I even get started, White Lotus, wait for him to show up first. Lastly, last night was out of control. It was way over the top, but it was enjoyable. I want to thank everybody. That was probably the longest, best night I've ever had, if that made sense. The best night meaning the most alive and consistent for the whole 6 hours. That's what blew my mind. I couldn't believe that I held that many people for 6 hours. So I want to thank you guys for that. I don't know if it'll ever happen again in the short term, but I want to thank you guys for that. And thank you, YouTube. 6 hours and 15 minutes. Wow. It was a long stream. So, all right. Yeah, it's still up, JT. Last thing I want to say is, now I forgot. Oh, so welcome, Rebecca. Yeah, we did hang out till almost 4 a.m. I don't know what Dylan's call in at the end was. I haven't called him back today yet. Oh, Tyler, you here? I did. Thank you, Joseph. I did StreamYards just for you today, Tyler. Just for you. So, in case you wanted to come on, that was nice, Jenny. Like I said, wait till he gets here. I don't know where he is. So, all right. Welcome, Michelle. So people that have known me for a long time know that I watch chat. I am consistently watching chat, and I will always answer chat. Hey, Ladybud, when there are so many people in here, it's much, much harder. Once you hit over the 500 range, it's hard. So sometimes you could still get lost. And all right, I'm going to start with that first. Have you guys all seen the news story on this guy that got arrested just a couple of miles away? It's Tyler Feller, Jenny, but thought the mods had it because they were dropping his link. So I'm going to go ahead and play the video that Jim sent me. And all right, before we even get started, let me just say this. You have to have some faith in the FBI in multiple capacities. What I mean by that is if the FBI tells you that this person's not involved, you kind of have to believe them. There can't be a big conspiracy theory with everything. And it can't be a big what to do with everything. Because odds are it's Occam's razor. If the FBI says this guy is not involved, he has nothing to do with Dylan's disappearance, I believe them. So people are making it out to be, in my opinion, something that it's not. And the reason why I'm saying something that it's not, because if the guy was involved in Dylan's disappearance, I think the FBI would know already, or the FBI would say something, or the FBI would do something. And the FBI said he's not involved, but I'll go ahead and play the clip anyway, just so you guys can hear it and we're all on the same page. Hang on. He absolutely is. Okay. I know I watched it on, oh, you know what? I did watch it on my phone. But it wasn't on YouTube. Shoot. Whistle down. What was the link? East Iowa News? East Idaho News? Is that what you had posted? Because I only saw it on my phone. East Idaho News. Okay. There it is. All right.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Nate Eaton here in the EastIdahoNews.com newsroom. Some developments this afternoon in the
Thank you, love my
case of
boots.
Dylan Rounds somewhat. These are significant developments. We will see how significant they are in the coming days. But right here, I have a 5-page arrest warrant for the man who lives near Dylan Rounds, and I'm gonna give it a second because I know people are going to be tuning in here. So let me give you some background. If you're just tuning in.
I want to know how a news recording has such bad sound. That's what I want to know. For real. And welcome.
This is Dylan Rounds. 19-year-old, went to Rigby High School here in eastern Idaho. He moved to Utah a few years ago to begin farming on this dry farm. You can see this is his farm here. Very rural area near the Utah-Nevada border. Dylan last spoke with his mother on May 26th, right before Memorial Day. It was a Saturday. He was worried about getting the grain truck under shelter because it was starting to rain, and he didn't want the rain to ruin his grain. And so he told his grandma, I got to get the grain truck in. I'll talk with you later. No one has heard from him since. That was a Saturday.
Guys, Spiffy won a trip too. Can you give her a trip on a one-way ticket? Thanks.
His family went out a few days later, and everything was eerie. His truck was still there, his pickup truck. His camper was still there. Right here is where he was staying. There was his truck. Obviously, his tractor was there, and there was no sign of Dylan. Since then, multiple searches have been done. This is in the middle of nowhere. Closest town is about 30 miles away in Nevada, over the border, Montello, Nevada. And since then, several people in the area have been interviewed. Now, the Box Elder County Sheriff's Office is leading the investigation. The FBI is also involved. And it is the FBI that filed this arrest warrant just yesterday. And I want to make it clear that they are not connecting this person directly to Dylan's disappearance.
Okay, did you guys hear that? I know with his crunching it was a little tough. This is not connected. The FBI says this is not connected to Dylan's disappearance. That's it. Nothing more. This guy is pointless and nothing more. Yes, mods. Now you can drop the PayPal link. I don't know if you heard my little spiel before, but I explained why you have a PayPal link. I explained that everyone has made money on your work and you deserve to get paid. So I don't know if you heard my little spiel, but rewind if you haven't heard it.
But here's what happened. The FBI went out there. Actually, the Box Elder County Sheriff's Office went out to the farm and began interviewing people, including a man named James Brenner. Brenner is 59 years old and was apparently squatting in a trailer about 5 miles from Dylan's property. He was squatting in a trailer. He did agree to speak with investigators. And what happened was on the 16th of June, so just a few days ago, when he spoke and showed the warrant on Brenner's trailer.
Can you ever not be an asshole? Just saying.
Are we on?
Yeah? Can you ever not be an asshole? Just curious.
So I'm gonna read directly from here on the affidavit. And first, I want to say Brenner is a convicted felon. He has served time in prison. I believe it was 33 months in prison for possessing a firearm as a felon. Obviously, if you're a convicted felon, you cannot have guns. He served 33 months in prison for having firearms. He also has other felonies on his record. So the police.
Okay, my question to that is to all gun owners in here: aren't guns expensive? Like, why is he squatting if he has all these guns? Was he selling them to people in the area? Because that's what it sounds like to me. Why else would someone with all these guns be squatting? It doesn't make sense.
Spoke with Brenner lives about 5 miles from Dillon's property. On the 11th of June, Box Elder County Sheriff's asked that the FBI come and join the case. On the 16th, they searched Brenner's trailer. They found ball ammunition, ignition caps, black powder, speed loads, all related to muzzle loading. Those were photographed in the trailer.
What?
At the time. There were no muzzle loader firearms located in the trailer at the time. That happened on June 16th. So the police go over, they search the trailer, they find a bunch of guns and ammunition, they don't take it. 4 days later, all according to the arrest warrant, on June 20th, a friend of Brenner's who goes by the initials DH in these records, in these documents.
Oh, I know who that is. I know who that is.
And the sheriff's office.
Dickhead.
DH told the police that after Dillon disappeared and after Brenner originally spoke with the police back on June 7th, Brenner brought 3 black powder guns over to DH's house.
Hold on, Lauren. Lauren, can you pause this?
So let me.
If you call me Lauren again, I'm going to not drop your PayPal and I'm going to report it for fraud. The name is Laura.
I like Lauren because it's more elegant. You know what I mean? It really encompasses a woman like you. But now, what happened? What's a muzzle loader? I think I had a buddy that had a muzzle loader when we were in high school. It looks like a ferret. They eat grapes. Also, what happened with 3 black guys?
What?
He said something about 3 black guys. What was that about?
I didn't hear that.
Rewind it. He said something about a muzzle loader and 3 black guys.
Thank you, Salt. Salt, are you there? You said you were going there today.
They searched Brenner's trailer. They found ball ammunition, ignition caps, black powder, speed loads, all related to muzzle loading. Those were photographed in the trailer. They were not seized at the time. There were no muzzle loader firearms located in the trailer at the time. That happened on June 16th. So the police go over, they search the trailer, they find a bunch of guns and ammunition, they don't take it. 4 days later, all according to the arrest warrant, on June 20th, a friend of Brenner's who goes by the initials DH in these records, in these documents, DH was interviewed by the FBI and the sheriff's office. During that interview, DH told the police that after Dillon disappeared and after Brenner originally spoke with the police back on June 7th, Brenner brought 3 black powder guns over to DH's house.
Oh, black powder gun.
Safekeeping.
I was way off.
Brenner stated that he needed to do this for, quote, his own safety. And, quote, the last time he had trouble with the law, they took everything from him. And he did not want the things he had left to be taken from him. DH, the friend, agreed to store the muzzle loaders for him. Then DH gave those muzzle loaders over to the Box Elder County Sheriff's Office where they were booked into evidence. So I hope all that made sense. Brenner is friends with DH. DH goes over to Brenner's house, says, I need you to store these guns. When he was asked why, he says, you need to keep them for safekeeping because last time the cops got involved, they took everything from me and I don't want the things I have left to be taken. Right? Is DH says that Brenner also brought him a rifle, a .22 caliber rifle. DH said he didn't tell police the day before about this rifle because he had been owed money by the rifle's original owner and he felt that he should have a claim over the rifle.
Just tell me why this guy's getting paid from a radio station and we're on YouTube. Can you explain that to me?
Let me explain something to you. This is what, listen to me. This is what a media guy looks like in Idaho Falls. There's a reason why media people look like this in Idaho and like another whole animal. Like Google any news lady in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. This guy who looks like he was supposed to have Down syndrome and at the last minute God changed his mind is now on this program and he's probably going to be stuck here for life. He just doesn't have the look of a big market. So that's probably why you're seeing what you're seeing. I know
He's
this
never
guy.
looked at a small market.
Yeah, he's a tool, and I don't know what's going on.
Rifle that Brenner asked him to store to cover the debt. He explained to police that the rifle had been in the trailer on the property where Brenner had been living prior to him living there by a person who owed DH money. A little convoluted there, but basically, DH was owed money by the person who owned the trailer before Brenner moved in. Brenner moved in, took possession of the rifle. He then asked DH to store the rifle. DH didn't tell the police about the rifle because he felt that he had possession to it because the original owner owed him money. DH turned that rifle over to the FBI. It was loaded with 5 rounds of .22 caliber ammunition. So on the 20-
Okay, here's my feeling on this, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like they're tying this to Dylan just so it'll get some views. Because if the FBI said it has nothing to do with Dylan, then why are they reporting it like it does? And who's DH?
This is real easy. I mean, I could tell you the reason as to what's going on out there. It goes back to what we said your program yesterday. The cops are sweeping up that town because for 2 decades they didn't make any arrests. Now all of a sudden they're arresting people for guns. You know, they're arresting people for jaywalking. They're arresting people for child support. They're arresting them for outstanding warrants in other states. They're extraditing them. They're going to clean that town up, or at least make it look like they are. So they're in town. Might as well start arresting people.
Who's DH?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Somebody in
You
a
said
chat
you knew
room that
who DH was.
I think it's that guy, Don. Remember there was Don and Jim?
No.
I don't know Don's last name, though. Could be wrong.
Okay. All right. Now, did you speak to my guest that you promised me?
They want to come on together tomorrow. And let me tell you why. When you're in jail, you have to set up the phone call.
True.
So since I'm on a cell phone in prison, I can't reverse the charges on the call. So what's going to happen is tomorrow she will call him or he'll call her. She'll accept the charges from jail. People in the chat probably don't know what we're talking about yet. And then what we'll do is we'll have them both on together. That's how we're setting it up. So I didn't want to go half-cocked with her, but what the people I've been able to speak with today based on Kurt Wadsworth's interview is Kurt's son, Aaron Wadsworth, and his daughter-in-law, who both live in Idaho Falls. The only difference is Aaron is currently in jail awaiting a sentencing on drug charges.
What kind of drugs?
Meth.
Thank you. One for Laura. Interesting. All right.
By the way, has anybody heard anything from Kurt Wadsworth today? It's been kind of quiet.
Do you know how to get a hold of him?
I heard him speaking earlier today. I heard him speaking earlier today. What'd you think about that fiasco? Boy, do I have some.
I haven't watched the whole thing because somebody named Jim called me at 10 o'clock this morning that they had this amazing guest for me to bring on. So I set up a live only to find out that now you want to do it tomorrow. So I just want to clear up. There's no clickbait. I didn't promise people something. I did it on your word. And, well, it says a lot.
I mean, it's a little hard to get a guy in prison to do what you want to do unless you're a guard. I mean, it's.
Well, why didn't you tell me this at 10 o'clock this morning?
She changed her mind about a half hour ago and said they can't do it because they had some sort of a thing in jails. I want to get him. She's okay. She never really had much interaction with Kurt Wadsworth, but I want the son who actually got into a fist fight with him. And I'll give you a little tease. They told me about a closet full of gay sex toys that he found when he was younger. A bunch of good stuff. I'm also trying to get his ex-wife. His ex-wife and the daughter-in-law or her daughter-in-law are very close, but they haven't seen Kurt in years. And they pretty much listened to the entire thing with me today, and their take on it is even more entertaining than mine.
Okay. Thank you, Huck. All right, let me pull up the video because I recorded it this morning because I knew that I was going to listen to it tonight.
By the way, guys, we are going to be commenting on this, correct? So we could take calls throughout this. We'll make some pauses. I can make some comments. We're going to do that.
Correct.
Okay. And by the way, never, ever, ever do a show with your
Everybody
hair.
has these preconceived notions.
What?
Always do shows with your hair down. Looks much better.
You know what? I was just going to put it up.
No, keep it down, and it hides your extensions.
I don't have extensions. Jesus Christ. First, I'm accused of dentures. I'm accused of fake hair. No. Sorry. This is all me. All right. Are we ready? Can you shut up long enough and not eat chips?
What we need to do here is every little bit, I'll give you a signal, pause it, we'll talk about it because there is a whole lot of bullshit here. By the way, in this show that is, I forget the name of the show, and I know this lady. I've spoken to her. I don't know her, but I've spoken to her. I've never been on her show. We had a show set up, and she no-showed me and then didn't want me on. But I don't think live this show ever crept above 275 views. And I'm going to tell you, oh, this woman is so vile. This woman is so vile.
Did you get my email with the picture side by side?
No, of what?
Email. Oh, check your email. I sent you an email of real versus, fake.
Oh, yeah. You should see this woman's, what is that called when your picture's up? What is that called?
Profile.
Thumbnail photo?
Profile.
Yeah. I thought the thumbnail photo was the woman that had the program, and this was her brother.
Be nice. She's going to strike me. She's going to try to strike me.
Can't strike you for me giving an opinion. By the way,
be nice.
If we have anybody in the chat room that has ever been to Blair, Nebraska.
Here we go.
Blair, Nebraska.
Well, all of Nebraska, not just Blair.
Well, listen, Blair, Nebraska is a special area to me. It has very special people in it. And I'm telling you what, Blair, Nebraska, right near the Missouri River, gorgeous place. I'm thinking of buying a houseboat.
If you ever want to dox someone, you do it from Nebraska because there's no doxing laws. Just saying.
Right. Doxing is not a real thing in like almost every state except like, I don't know, Maine.
But you're not going to do it on my channel.
Never.
Okay. See, we talk. All right. So
all right, go ahead. I want to hear what this guy has to say.
Hush. Hush, lady. Hush. All right. So to explain what's going on, Kurt Wadsworth, who is at the center of Dylan's disappearance, and I say at the center because James is the one that actually discovered this. He's this 60-year-old man that Dylan was allegedly having an affair with or sleeping with or doing work with. So that's why Kurt is such a huge part of this case. So now that I explained that, I went ahead and recorded. It says 2 hours, but that's because I left the house and it just kept recording. I don't know how long it actually is, but I know it's not 2 hours.
Of what you are.
Multiple detectives, probably 10 or more, and FBI. So, yeah, I talk to people that matter, but, it sucks to be slandered by a bunch of people that don't know shit. So, whatever.
Exactly.
I think you were just straight out. I don't know. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah. So let's just jump right into the questions. Because we did talk about this before, and I think you're well spoken. You're a very smart guy, in my opinion. From what I had an enjoyable conversation with you before, this. So, the number one question that people really want to know about is, again, the scratches on Troy's arm.
That's the number one question. That's the number one.
I thought the exact same thing. That's why I was
the number one question.
Yeah, that's not the number one question. And if that is the number one question, that's pretty sad.
The number one question right now.
He has a three-wheeler. Dangerous as hell, right?
What?
The number one question right now is who taught this woman how to apply lipstick?
Come on. We got too much to go through real stuff.
I thought she needs to ask him for tips.
Yeah, but forget all that. We got too much to deal with.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's put it on the side, and that's what scratches his arm.
So I hope you guys can hear that. You just got your answer from Kurt. he flipped his four-wheeler, Kurt?
Three-wheeler.
Three-wheeler.
Just took him outside, threw him off, and, scratched his arm. It's gravel. The roads are gravel here. When you hit the gravel, you get scratched.
Right. So, and pictures have been taken of this, right?
As far as I know, the detective come take pictures just to clear it all up.
Yeah, because of me.
Clear that with the YouTubers, right?
Right. Right.
That's where they get it cleared up. So.
Right. And if you guys missed it, like when Kurt first came on, he said, I've been talking to the people that matter, meaning the FBI, et cetera, et cetera. And I have to commend him for that. So let's be thankful that he's even coming on and even answering any of our questions, because he does not have to. Okay. Yeah, you don't. So, but I am thankful that you decided to do this. And I do think it's going to give people a very different perspective on you and who you are.
I'm doing this because my daughter.
Here's my question to Jim. If he's not guilty of anything, then why do people need a different perspective?
I mean, listen, oh God, I could do a whole 4 hours just on this thing. First of all, he's going to come out. He's going to have, this is the biggest interview in the history of this case, Laura. The biggest interview, the number one guest at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Bigger than Candace Cooley, okay? And he goes on a show that doesn't break 300 listeners. He goes on a show at 2:00 in the afternoon on a show with less than 300 people at any one time that watched it. And 10 of the people that were in there, I knew. So she has wound him up and she leads him. This is called leading him. So here's how this would go. Let's pretend I'm going to interview you like you're Kurt Wadsworth. So
I know.
How did you, let's say, get those scratches on the arm? We talked about this earlier, and it was from like maybe an accident. I mean, she virtually leads it. And what's interesting is towards the end of this whole interview, he kind of breaks away from her and starts using homophobic slurs and different things. And you could see her getting nervous. But this woman is so proud of herself.
Mm-hmm.
It's vile. It's disgusting. And she did nothing here but make herself look like a fool and make him look more guilty, because she never asked him one tough question. He's a great guy. He's a smart guy. Yeah, right. Real smart.
You didn't answer my question. If he's not guilty of something, then what reputation is she trying to turn around? Nobody has said anything about him yet. The only thing you said is that he was having an affair with Dylan Rounds. That's it. That's all you've ever said.
Well, and that his brother had scratches on his arms. You droned on 4 hours last night about how they're running meth. So yeah, I gotta imagine that he's probably pretty defensive.
But I didn't say that he was the head honcho.
Well, you said he's involved in it.
He worked for Dylan. Dylan didn't work for him. He worked for Dylan. Don't forget
this
that.
This interview is about two people. This interview is about two people. It's about you and me. That's it. Everything else, she could have had anybody answer these questions. Go ahead. This chick is vile.
Read you out to let me know that you're not going to, make your phone under the bus for one thing, or people just, ask stupid questions that don't, are meaningless to finding my friend Dylan Rounds.
Exactly.
Finding my friend Dylan Rounds.
Okay. So, and if you guys didn't hear that, he just said, finding my friend Dylan Rounds. And I guess that'll lead into this question, Kurt. Like, how did you see Dylan? Like, how did you view him, like, as a person?
I just a hardworking young kid that had a dream, and I wanted, he asked me to be involved in it, and I just there's the backhoe operators all in the beginning. I just went out there to dig a 1,400 feet of main line and put the line in and backfill it, and I was supposed to be out of there. It just went on since I started last March.
Yeah, and so then Don quit, right?
Well, that's only been about a month and a half ago. He did quit. The word is Dylan fired him. No. he just gone and said, I got $20,000, sold some land, and I want to go fishing. I'm kind of tired of this bullshit, and I'll make me back. But for now, I want to go fishing. So, well, I can't make you work, Don, so hope you catch lots of fish. See you later.
Yeah. So Don was just like, bye. I got 20 grand. I'm out. So then all this work, like, more like falls on you a little bit.
Oh, she is so proud of herself.
I'm picking up what Don was.
What did he get 20 grand for?
Who fucking gives a shit? This is horrible, man. This is, first of all, I can't take my eyes off them sausage fingers. Okay, let's get real.
Don't insult. That's not helping the task at hand.
Ugh.
I know, but it's not helping the task at hand.
And she's married. Where's her ring?
I don't know. Let's concentrate on the topics of conversation, what they're actually discussing.
I didn't expect to do that, but all of a sudden, Don was calling me every day. Well, can you help me get this equipment there? Help me do this. I need a jack. Because Don had a lot of tools. Dylan don't have any tools. I have a lot of tools. So it's constant. Now my tools are being, was over into his program out there because he didn't have nothing to work with. And that's how I kind of got sucked into it. But, I love what the kid was doing. And I wanted to help him make his dream come true,
Yeah.
I'm more tired. I don't have to work if I don't want to. I do what I want. And so that's how it kind of come down.
Yeah, well, I thought it was funny, like when we were talking earlier, and people are obsessed with him sleeping in this camper of yours, and
Camper, it's a motorhome.
It's a motorhome, not a camper.
Yes.
Okay, what the fuck's the difference?
It ain't no little podunk camper.
I'm not a janitor. I'm a custodial engineer. I'm not a janitor.
I want to stand down. I climb in there, go to bed. But I made it available to him.
Yeah, so he would sleep in his camper sometimes, like when he didn't want to go home, but not with you.
No, we were never staying there together.
Did she think he was going to say, yes, I was sleeping with a 19-year-old who's now missing? Like, that was the dumbest thing I ever heard. I heard this part earlier, but that was just the dumbest thing I ever heard. No, the kid is missing. It's presumably dead, but definitely missing.
Where did
And
she
for
say
her
that?
to say such a stupid thing, like Kurt's gonna be like, yeah, we slept together. He was my boyfriend. Who cares that I'm 50 years older than him? It was the dumbest thing in the world.
Let me ask you this: what did he say they were staying in? It's not a camper; it's an RV.
Camper.
What the fuck's the difference?
I don't know.
Well, I'm glad they clarified that because everybody in the chat room and around the country wanted to make sure that it was an RV and not a camper. This gets way worse. I've seen this. This is vile. Go ahead.
I wouldn't want to stay there with him. It's too tight.
Well, I thought it was funny earlier when you were like, I would let Dylan stay, but sometimes he's messy.
Yeah.
And I'd have to send him home.
Okay, so that's like the first thing that we've gotten about Dylan. He's messy. Thank you. Now we have one personality trait.
At one point, he had his coffee machine out there, his cup and a plate and a fork and a knife. I'm like, dude, you move in. There's no refrigeration though. I give him ice all the time. We got an ice machine here, so he was always getting ice.
Ice machine.
He'd buy little tubes of hamburger and stuff. Sometimes I never seen him do that here. Here he'd buy pizzas in when he went somewhere, say Burley or Idaho Falls. He'd come back with a couple frozen pizzas. Can I put this in the pizza in the freezer? Yeah, sure. And we have a pizza cooker here, so he just got to where he helped himself. He didn't even ask. He just bring a piece in there and throw it in the oven and start cooking it. He didn't ask. He just got to make himself at home.
So he's like, we're family now. I'm just coming over and cooking stuff in your thing. You're like playing the dad.
Can you pause this?
Go home.
I'm ready to jump out of my skin. So here's what's going on. He's trying to explain any possible question Well, did he have a toothbrush there? He had food there. So right now, what I know is Dylan Rounds kept food there, dishes, plates. Okay, he's already showering there. He's sleeping there. So he's giving excuse like, hey, what you moving in here for, buddy? It's not a camper. It's not a little small one. It's a massive RV. Hey, guys, how many 19-year-old
No, it's not a massive RV because he said that it's tight.
He later, no, he has 2 RVs. He has one at the bar, and then he has a big motorhome. There's an RV and a motorhome. What he's explaining, okay, is that here's the thing, okay? He's trying to make it look like, this kid he was some older grandfather type guy. She even is, because I could see a little bit further down the road. I've watched this a little bit already, and they're trying to make it look like he was just a buddy. He was a mentor. He was best buddies with him. How many 19-year-old straight men are staying with 60-year-old men?
You froze.
He's trying to make it seem like it's something it's not. He's trying to explain it away, and he can't do it right.
All right, but let me ask you a question. You've talked to these people, so you would know. So this is really just a question. How do you know that he wasn't a mentor and father? Like, what proof is there that he wasn't what he's saying?
Oh, he probably was. He probably was, but that's not all that he was.
Oh, okay.
I'll give you that.
Fair enough.
Oh, this is
Oh,
that laugh.
yeah.
I'm sitting here watching TV and he's cooking his own meal. I don't have to cook the speech. He's done it himself, which is great. I'm not his mama.
Right.
It definitely could be grooming, Craig. I agree with that.
Oh, it's grooming. Let me tell you what this sounds like. Let me tell you what this sounds like. If anybody has ever watched The Interview with Michael Jackson, but we watched cartoons and I shared my bed with children. There's nothing more loving than sharing your bed with children. You changed the voice, and this is Jesus juice. Yep, this guy is a fucking whack job. He should know better. You know what he should have told Dylan? Learn how to get a fucking oven. Go learn how to cook at your own house. Where's Kurt's wife? Where's Kurt's girlfriend? Forget Dylan Rounds. This guy hasn't had a woman in his life in years. He's trying to explain why they were together so much in a cramped space, and this guy's even making him dinner. It sounds like his wife to me. Bullshit.
I agree. I'm 100% with you on that.
So, we've all been under the misconception, and we talked about this earlier, that Dylan was like on this farm for 3 years, but that's not true, is it?
No, he's been in that area. He worked for another guy for 2 of those years, and then he had a dream of owning a section of that land out there, and he finally got it done. He had to, work through a lot of stuff. I guess his grandpa helped him do it, and I don't know all the details of that. I don't care. It doesn't matter. But he ended up with, a square mile of land with a well on it, and he was just he thought he was in seventh heaven.
So a lot of people wanted to know, like, how did Dylan live? How did he have money?
Because he's called a custom farmer, and he does work for other farmers. He has big equipment, balers, swathers, rakes, all that stuff, harrows.
Okay, here's my question about that. If you have a farm with 600 acres, why would you be helping farm another area? Wouldn't you do your own farming?
If I had 600 acres, I wouldn't be sleeping over some 60-year-old man's house and making pot pies and frozen pizzas 5 days a week. I'd be at the goddamn farm. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. And you know what infuriates me the most? She basically does the interview for him. He didn't even need to be on this. And instead of asking the tough questions and being combative, he knew he was going to get nothing but softballs, and he got it out. Now he could go. That's why nobody watched this, because they knew. And by the way, you can see people in her chat room asking about me, saying, and I eventually at the end, make a couple of comments. And believe it or not, I was not blocked. I think they thought I was somebody else. This is terrible. And this woman ought to be ashamed of herself. She ought to be ashamed of
The
herself.
only people that were asking questions were me, Frankie Rose's Crime Time. We were like the only ones. And then I finally just gave up.
Yeah, I could yell out my window right now and reach more people than this lady did with the biggest interview.
Like a disc, all that stuff. He has all that stuff. And that's what he done. That's how he got with his grandpa. Really knew this kid makes money. I can co-sign on this farm, I have to think, and the kid it'll make it right. He just needed somebody to kind of throw, some money out there at him and get the thing bought, and he'll pay it back. He's like that. He don't think the world owes him anything. He wanted to prove to the world he could do something that nobody else could do out there. There's been several people try to grow stuff out there, and they've all failed.
That's what you said, Luke.
So I'm going to show them how this is done. So there we go. And
Don't you feel like they came from everything that's being said and not from a 19-year-old kid saying it? Like, I have two 17-year-olds. They wouldn't say that. I mean, people in chat can agree or disagree, but I just don't think that a 19-year-old is going to tell this guy, yeah, I'm going to prove them wrong. I'm going to show them what I'm going to do. It just doesn't seem right to me.
Hey, by the way, explain to the people in the chat room who this woman is. There are so many people who have no idea who she is. That's the number one question. Who is this lady? Who is this lady? Who's this on the screen? Do you know anything about her?
No, I found out about it from you.
Oh, okay.
I admire him for that, And it's been a lot of hard work on his part, my part, and Don, and we've all been a part of it. So.
Yeah, I mean, another question. People wanted to know if Dylan had a motorcycle.
Yeah, why is that important?
It's the first I've ever heard of it.
Oh, okay.
I never seen him ride it because it never ran. He brought it out there. I guess he rode it a couple times and it broke down and it just got parked. And he told me one time, he goes, yeah, I really hate riding that motorcycle. Every time
Her name is Crime Time with Jess. I know exactly who she is. But he asked me if I knew before today.
I crash and it hurts. I really just be in my truck.
Yeah, I imagine that would hurt,
Very good rider. I don't know.
And
we took it back to Idaho, Rigby, where his parents are at, and took it back up there. It disappeared off the farm out there, so it didn't run. It needed to be fixed. I think he took it to get it fixed. So he had something to run back and forth the pivot on, because that's a lot easier to run your truck out there.
Oh, Crime Talk. I'm sorry, Crystal. Crime Talk with Jess or Crime Time with Jess. One of them.
I think he's got two little tiny wheels, because otherwise you're running over your crop going out to that center pivot. You have the generator out there to take fuels to it. Stuff,
But you were telling me it's really hard to grow crop on that land, right?
It is, but he's been doing his homework. He got, I don't know, they call these hygrometrists or something like that. These guys that they tell you what acid you got to put on the ground to make the salt go away. It just kind of takes the salt down into the earth and gets it off, on the top so that something can grow in it. He paid for fertilizers out there and all kinds of stuff. He's doing it right.
Right.
But that's the theory. He wants to show people that shit can be grown out here, I mean, it's just criticality, isn't it? He found a barley and wheat last year. And it came up. He was proud about it. It headed out and everything.
Now, what I will say, a lot of people in chat were coming at her at this point, and I did the same thing with Dylan last night. When you're interviewing someone and they start talking, let them talk. Let them get it all out. You can direct a conversation, but if they go completely off track, but if they're saying stuff that could lead to information, just let them run their mouth. I feel like in this, he knows way too much. He's quoting people. He's pulling stuff from news and information. I don't find him credible.
Wait till he cries. Wait till he cries in this interview. It's my favorite part. He literally cries in this interview more so than Candace Cooley ever has, and it's fascinating.
All right.
Then he said, I guess Randy talked him into planting this triticale because, dude, it's a one crop thing, but you put some money back in your pocket at the end, and that's what he decided to do. Because Randy's about 64, and he's been a farmer all his life. In fact, he has a contract with the Gamble Ranch over here.
That was me calling in.
Right, and he got hooked up with Dylan.
Dylan knew his chemistry, he said. Chemistry would have to do with meth.
And Dylan was happy as hell because, man, they put him to work. He's made last time he told me he had $46,000 coming from the Gamble Ranch.
Okay, hey, real quick. Here, this kid's doing his accounting with everybody in town. I got 46,000. Kurt knows every dollar this kid's got coming in. He knows that he owns motorcycles. He knows that he's buying frozen pizzas. He knows where he's sleeping. He knows what he's wearing. He knows how much money's in his bank account. What in God's name is that kid doing telling this moron with 2 registered sex offender brothers? I mean, why would this kid see? This is a kid that was in a relationship with this man, whether you want to say it was a father figure. And I've had a couple of the gay people that are in this call me today, and if they weren't convinced before, they are now. And by the way, why is she, who's the guy holding this phone for her?
Stop.
We're doing work at the Gamble Ranch. So I was like, wow, it's not all this money in his pocket. He's like, yeah, it's going to help with the payments on my tractors and the piece of equipment they're using. I'm renting it to them. And it's going to eventually break down. I'll have to fix it. But he said, man, this is great. I'm getting some money coming in. I'm getting on top of the world here.
Yeah, so he was really feeling himself there. Because that is a lot of money for a 19-year-old,
Shit, it's a lot of money for anybody. I'll take fucking 80 grand.
I know, that's part of it. But I don't know how people found out that $33,000 check he got. It somehow the whole town knew. I don't know how that happened. I just don't know.
Well, I can guess.
The whole town knew about this check he got. The whole town knew, which coincides with exactly what Jim had said, that he bragged about it. So Jim was right.
You can tell when he says something that she does not want him to say like this, she twitches. She's like, oh, shit, anything. And this goes into the militia thing. She gets into that later. And he says, no, we don't have a militia, but we had to police ourselves out here. Well, that's a militia. That's a vigilante group.
Everybody knew. And it's sad because these freaking meth heads out here, boy, they think a 19-year-old gets to handle that kind of money. Like, who is this kid? Who is this kid? I've never had a $3,000 check in my life.
Yeah, exactly. A $33,000 check. I'd like to see one of them.
What would you do? Buy more tank tops?
What was all involved? Fuel involved. There's a lot of shit involved. Tractor. $100,000 tractor and a $50,000 piece of equipment behind it, and there's seed involved. There's just a lot involved.
He's his accountant. He's virtually his accountant.
Right. So all that money just wasn't going in his pocket. It was going back into his farm.
Yes. Well, back into the fuel. I had to go back into more fuel for the next job, and make the payments on his tractors. And he had tire problems. He already spent probably $4,000 or $5,000 in tires in the last 3 months.
How would he know that? Okay, that's what I want to know. How does he know all this?
Wow. The tire equipment just started going to hell, and it was just a constant thing. He was constantly running the bird to buy tires. So, it wasn't like he had them on hand. He had to make a special trip. We've got a machine, if he's broke down on a road somewhere, out in nowhere, he's got to, come pick me up to go, because, I'm following him. We get a flat tire, we have no way to fix it. The tire's totally waste, so it's like we go back to town. Then he heads out, goes to where he might stay the night over there sometimes. He might come back late at night. But
so he kind of did what he wanted, Sounds like.
Well, he knew it had to get done. The shit, you can't just go, I'll do it tomorrow. No, he knew that tire. This is equipment sitting in the middle of nowhere. That kind of played hard in him. Somebody could sabotage it, break the windows out of a tractor or something. And he's like, hey, you don't want it there any longer. It has to be. Because there's a lot of, worthless people out here that just don't respect other people's property.
That's the first true thing he said.
So the sooner it got out of the situation and got back on the road, the better. And he'd just make a highball trip to wherever he could. Maybe, well, sometimes it's been up at a tire. You start calling around. You got a tire? This tire? Blah, blah. And he would all ask to get it and be accurate. So
What was the next question I was going to ask you? Oh, and everybody wants to know, and I have already answered this like in other live streams that I did, but everyone wants to know why you called the family and said that Dylan was being held captive. And just so you know, Christy did send me emails, and I did read them aloud.
Hey, let me get this to you. This is crazy. Let me set this up for you.
Yeah.
She is asking him what 90% of the people in your chat have wanted to know. Why did Kurt call the family and say Dylan was being held hostage? Why did you do that? Now, that's a very good question, but she sprinkles it to him. Now, I've already got emails and this and that. Hey, Kurt, here's how you ask that question. Hey, Kurt, if you're doing any kind of a real interview and you're biased and you're down the middle, Kurt, why would you? And that's the first question I would have asked. Kurt, why did you call the family and say that he was being held captive? That's a pretty strong statement. What did you know or didn't you know at that point? Listen to how she sets this up. Watch how incredibly proud of herself she is. And listen to this man's answer as to why he called the family and told them that Chase was being held captive. This is beyond wild.
Okay. Also, I want to state, if anybody wants to support Jim, my mods have been dropping the PayPal link all night, and they're going to continue to drop it. If you want to support me, you can do it through PayPal with mods drop. You can do it through Super Chat. More importantly, you can get something for it and order a candle. I own a luxury candle company, and mods have been dropping that as well. So
also, by the way, it will also go to help feed the hungry in Blair, Nebraska. There is a big homeless and there's a giant problem in Blair, Nebraska with people just being, poverty stricken. So, hashtag Blair, Nebraska.
Secret, but
that came through. My ex-wife called a psychic, right? So there's two people, right? And when my daughter related to me, my daughter Keisha, she's the one that asked her mother to do this, okay? Because she has faith in the psychic thing. I've never dealt with it before. She goes, Dad, let's just see what they come up with. We're 8-9 days into this. They haven't found nothing. Let's see what the psychic comes up with. She's pretty good. So that story got passed from the psychic to my ex-wife to my daughter to me. So it went through 4 heads at that point, right? And 3, at least 3. You know how stories get changed.
yeah, it's like playing telephone.
I did not say that he was being held, and I did not know that. I
Thank
said
you,
it's
Sal.
a possibility because the
Jim doesn't need money. He needs a date with Jess.
psychic said he is being held. He is alive, and that made me ecstatic. I thought, my God, he's alive. Time is of the essence here. We need to get on this shit because I'm like, what could the conditions be? It's 8-9 days into this, right? The kid being held in a cage or in a horse trailer or something, shitting himself, and they're throwing food to the side of him and throwing a jug of water in him to keep him last alive, right? That's what I'm thinking. It can't be good. It can't
Even
be
she,
good.
hey, pause real quick.
That'd be like,
Even this woman, who, let's face it, is a shill for the family. Everybody's asking that. This woman has attached herself like a summer tick to a homeless dog. And she is on this family because this is it. This story goes away. This lady is back to covering your scraps, right? She's back to, in August, taking her kids to T-ball and trying to squeeze one of these shows in during nap time or whatever's on CNN. And I'm going to tell you that this was absolute garbage. And right now, even she's like, oh, shit. Like, how do you screw this up? Like, even she knows right now, in those eyes, in that face, the smile is gone, that this is absolutely non-believable. Unbelievable. Nobody's going to buy this shit, but she's in too deep now, honey. Keep going with it just like you kept going with that lipstick. Get the whole lips.
Holding on to a mad dog because he would fight. If he got a chance to run away, he would. So how are they holding him? In my mind, I'm thinking, I don't know how they're doing this, but I was just glad. She said he was alive, and that made me just happy as hell, thinking, my God, this kid's not dead. He's alive. We need to move fast on this, as fast as we can. Get your ass to Montello. They kicked over the sagebrush. Every sagebrush over there was him. And I said, are you going to talk to the sagebrush some more out there? You're going to get your ass to Montello and talk to the people that know Chase, who everybody suspects did this.
Yep.
And this little shit in town called Robert Alvarez, or Vilas.
Who's Alvarez?
That's the guy that's been talked about before. He is a major player in this and is currently behind bars. The guy that I've been calling the alpaca farmer that was on the other show that you were mad that he wouldn't let me play that stuff. Okay, that guy that was on the other show that you couldn't play, his name is Ty. He's an alpaca farmer. He has this Robert Avelius's mom staying with him for protection because he was taken into jail. Supposedly, Robert Avelius is the man that took the police on a trail that Chase Venstra ran away from town in on four-wheelers. And on that trail, on the way to Utah, I believe, is where they found something of Dylan Rounds's that the FBI were finally called in and said, whatever this is, I don't know, whether it was bloody clothes, a wallet, cell phone, all of the above, some sort of a crime they found with this guy, and then they arrested him on other charges. Just like they arrested the gun guy today. They could have arrested that guy a long time ago. Just like Chase was arrested. They're locking everybody up.
Okay.
He was involved. He admitted that because they went. I said, I don't know where Chase is. I had no clue where Chase was at the time, but I knew where Robert was. My brother was sitting over there watching. We seen him outside. I said, you stay right here. I'm going to get his parents here, and we're going to get the cops here, and we're going to roll this little bastard, find out what he knows about this, because he did admit to him that he took Chase to his sin. And they had no business.
You know what that means, Lauren? Laura, you know what that means, Laura?
No.
That means they're going to roll him. That means they're going to make him talk. He is already talking like he's the head of their little vigilante group.
I agree.
He's already talking about it.
Mm-hmm. That's why I said that's the one part that I
would love to come in town, okay, and do anything I want in that town and have Kurt and his buddies tell me, you wait right here. Kurt would swallow his teeth if he talked to me like that in a town. And his brother would hold my jacket. Bottom line.
I was like, wow, we were going to find Dylan today. That was I thought we were going to find him today. But 6 cops went, 3 highway patrol and 3 sheriffs went over there like they're going to meet up with the cavalry over there. And the mother told come out, talk to my brother. He's sitting out in front of the house watching it, right? She came out and said, well, Robert said, I don't know why you're watching my house. And he said, well, we got a missing person, and we don't know if it's Robert or who it is. I just want to know if Robert said, oh, he's in the house. He doesn't feel good. And she said, she said, I think the cops in town on. He said, yeah. Can they come over here? She goes, oh, yeah. They can go talk to Robert. They can go right back to his bedroom and talk to him. So there was no threat. She's going to let him through the door. They don't have to knock the door or nothing, right? And we came over here and told them that. What she said, you guys, one of you go. You don't need 6 of you. Don't go over there like the National Guard's coming down this place. One guy over there and walk through the house and ask this kid some questions. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a photo of Kurt?
I had one photo and I sent it to somebody. I've got it somewhere in my phone. He's looking from behind over his shoulder, and it's a picture of the back. And that's another reason, because his whole story is based on his ex-wife calling a psychic. This is another reason, Laura, that I wanted to have the son, the daughter-in-law, and his ex-wife on a call. By the way, I got a call from Ellen Berg and Dylan Berg today. Yeah. And guess who they had a conference call set up with at 3:00 today?
Who?
Candace.
Why?
Ask them. I think she was going to tell them to shut up and don't go on any more shows. Either they're going to help them out, or I don't know. but they haven't called me back since. And the mother was screaming at the son when he told me that. She was going to have a conversation with them today. Very interesting. After this interview, they've got something working. I've even heard that she's been shopping attorneys to try to look at people to silence them and send them cease and desist orders.
But why though? The only reason that I can see her doing that, honestly, is if I'm right and that she is involved in this meth ring.
Well, I'll tell you this much. She may be able to find you. She may be able to find them. She's never going to be able to serve me. Hell, I don't even know where I'm going to be tomorrow.
Dude, I'm the easiest person in the world to find.
Oh,
All you have to do is order a candle. You know where I'm at.
Right. Or just read the stall in the Chevron or
there you go.
Pilot gas station.
Exxon. My feet are cold. All right.
But the way it went, they went over there, all 6 of them pulled up, lights flashing, all the bullshit. Probably scared the hell out of the kid, but he didn't run. Normally he runs some shit like that. He didn't run, he stayed there. And they actually went and that said, no, you can look through my house. And they said, well, we think, this missing person can be in here. So that she said, well, and they cut locks on it. They went and they looked in everything. So it didn't matter. So but that clearly someone wasn't there for sure. That's for
He
them.
doesn't even know what the hell he said.
I could think of 4 or 5 other places they get me help. So I started turning them on.
I could think of 4 or 5
I do
other
want to
places
ask
he
you.
could be
I
held.
did
Did you hear that,
ask you on the phone.
Hold on. The psychic Kurt's ex-wife called was above and beyond ancestry Willow allegedly. What?
I don't know what the hell Grammy H is talking about, but she looks way too young to be a grandma. Listen, he says, I know 4 or 5 other places he could be at. Yeah, just ask your brother Scott and use some of his old hangouts, where he had people captured, where he had people held against their will, or ask your doofus brother. This is making me sick.
And let me also say this. I'm going to put this in chat. I am not responsible for things that my guest says. I can guide him on YouTube etiquette and I could tell him, certain things can say. But one thing I can tell you about Jim, don't take him seriously. If he says something that offends you, just blow it off. He doesn't realize he's not doing it on purpose. He's not doing it to hurt anybody. That's the way he jokes around. If you
who's getting offended?
Someone made a comment that, they're offended because their daughter or son has Down syndrome and
oh, Christ. Are they missing? All right.
They just don't get your personality. So I'm just saying that, that's the way Jim is, and take it or leave it, but take it with a grain of salt.
Listen, I've coached in the Special Olympics, okay, lady? And I was very, very instrumental in trying to get boxing into the Special Olympics. Go ahead. Let's watch the rest of this.
Such an ass.
Earlier, but the PI keeps bringing up this building that only you have the keys to.
No, his brother.
Dylan might be locked in there or something. I don't know.
Thank you, Audrey.
But
staircase after the loop of Ron Tello. It's next to the cowboy.
okay.
Troy does have the keys because he's the character.
All right, let me just put this out there. Take his work seriously. Take his when he's talking business. When he throws out jokes out there, that's just his personality. Take it with a grain of salt and leave it alone. Thank you, Salt. Why is Candace always trying to shut everyone? Yeah, that's what I'm wondering too.
Taker of it. I don't know for sure, but what does that have to do with anything? I don't know. Is that good find Dylan? You think Dylan's over there? I don't think so.
Yeah, people have asked these questions, so I think it's best that you answer them because you have the answers, not me. So.
Shithole, okay. And that wasn't a shithole part of this. This has become a shit. I want to leave. It's insane. People follow me every day. I can't live my life. I haven't worked in 35 days since this started. I have not.
Now, let me tell you something. Let me tell you why.
Let me say something first. This is when I walked away, right around this time. So now he hasn't been able to work in 35 days because he's so distraught over Dylan. Bitch, get the fuck out of here.
Let me tell you why else he hasn't worked in 35 days. because he hasn't had anybody to hire him. His money source that
That's a
this
good point.
kid, that this 60-year-old this tick has been parasiting off of this kid. Of course, his boss is gone. His money stream is gone.
Mhm.
Probably the only guy that'll hire him. And let me tell you a couple other things about him that his daughter-in-law, his son, and his ex-wife have all said. He hasn't had a driver's license in decades. He doesn't even pay taxes. This guy couldn't get a job at a reputable place. He hasn't worked in 35 days because he doesn't want to get in a vehicle and do any work out there, because if he gets in a vehicle and drives with expired tags and no driver's license because the cops are, he's going to get arrested like his brother did a week ago. So there's a reason he's not working, and it's self-inflicted. Why doesn't he come on and create? I'll tell you what. I'll give him $1,000 cash if he comes on a show and does a 30-minute interview with me. 30-minute interview on this program, I'll PayPal him $1,000, and he's got to answer the questions. 30 minutes, and if he runs, he doesn't get it. How about that?
How about I get him and you give me $1,000?
Yeah, well, I couldn't afford your extensions.
I can't think about work. I want to think about finding Dylan and trying to figure out what the hell happened to this poor kid. He didn't deserve this. He did not.
Yeah,
It's to my core that some piece of shit in this world has done this to him. I just pray to God that
Now, does this guy sound like he's so distraught that he can't work?
He's going to start crying here. Here it is.
piece of shit didn't have the wherewithal to actually put a bullet in his head or beat him to death. He's actually alive. That's what I hope for.
I do too. I mean, I think, with you being his friend, and I don't want to sound, crass, but, the odds are looking slim. But there's still always hope. So.
Well, she's right. And you know why she's right, Laura?
Why?
Let me tell you why she's right. Well, all you got to do is ask Kurt about his brother Scott and the women that lived 4 months in captivity, and he had 3 of them. His brother had 3 women in captivity for over 4 months. So you know what? Maybe it's not that far-fetched. These WADSWORTH'S seem to have a real good track record of capturing people and keeping them alive for a long time. Maybe she should get his opinion on that. But no, she just says what a great brother he has, gets him off the hook. Meanwhile, show his picture and run his background there, lady. Unbelievable. And the fingers.
Do you have his phone number?
Who, Kurt's?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got his phone number.
Give it to me. I'll call him.
I have a PayPal account right down here there, Laura, if you want that. Yeah, that's a...
Yes, you're on my show, and I've been promoting your PayPal account.
I don't get a fucking candle.
Send me his number.
It's religious, and I believe God decided when you leave this.
And I know you've got money in it. So
Oh,
kiss
here
my
he's going to start crying right now, and he talks about God. What a lukewarm cue.
Gun in his hand, or a knife, or whatever. So I still believe Dylan's still alive. Otherwise, there's no sense of talking about it. There's just no. I wouldn't even be here if I didn't think he's alive. I would not. I'm wasting my breath because I want to be. If he's gone, he's in a better place than this.
Thank you, Lead with Love.
So,
I hear you, and I hear the emotion in your voice. It's hard. I mean, I can imagine how this is for you. I mean, how often did you see Dylan? We did talk about that, but
Seriously, though, if you have his number, let me call him. I really want to call him.
What would you say?
I would like to talk to him. No different than she did.
I mean, you want his number right now? You can try to call him on the air. He's just going to blow you off. It all goes through Candace. The only
Can't
reason he did
try.
this, Candace and his daughter set this up. His daughter, I believe, is also the one that called me a while ago and said, my uncles aren't pedophiles, and even if they are, they're good pedophiles. I remember that comment, you dirt bags.
It can't hurt to try and call him. Right?
I'm sorry?
What's that can happen? He's going to tell me no?
Yeah, I mean, I'll text it over to you right now. Is your number still 911?
Yes.
What are the last 2 digits?
Of what?
Your phone number, 13?
13. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to send it over now then, okay?
All right.
All right, keep it playing. I got to go grab it. Hold on.
I'll send him, because in the winter months I didn't see him much. He was going snowmobile and stuff. He'd call me all the time. Yeah, because I give him a snowmobile. He goes, yeah, I got your snowmobile running, man. I love this thing, blah, blah, And he'd take pictures and stuff and send them to me, but he wasn't here in the winter. There's nothing to do. We couldn't do anything with snow on the ground. But as soon as the snow went away and the mud went away, it was like assholes and elbows. We got to get
Okay.
We got to get out there.
Let's do it.
Get this main line,
What happened to our audio?
And I understood that. And they tried to drive
I
me like,
can, but I mean, you're not going to let me down, right?
I said, is the wind going up there? Yeah. Well, I'm not telling them, though.
What happened to our audio?
Because I'm not going to work. I've done it a couple times for this guy. He's done a lot of welding on equipment that was broke and stuff. And I was a handyman. I had done all the wrenching on tractors, changing the oil, that kind of stuff. And, done electrical work because he was putting a trailer park out there. Just,
Why did our audio get so bad?
hot dogs like that. But that's how I met him.
I don't know.
When I seen his talent and his ambition, I said, dude, you need to get the hell out of here. This guy doesn't pay very well.
Thank you,
And I
Joseph.
go, I'm kind of, I like this place, and I'm thinking about, I'm trying to look for a place to do a pig farm. And he goes, man, I think out here would be perfect because nobody's going to bitch about the smell and all the stuff that goes on the pig farm. I said, well, okay, I get it then. Okay, so that's why you're here. It's not because this guy's paying to get money, obviously.
Right.
Because a welder usually makes $30, $40 an hour.
Yeah, see, Crims, did I hear that right? Because I'm like half paying attention because of the sound. But he's saying that he gave Dylan a snowmobile.
In the desert? I guess maybe it snows. AZ Nation, thank you. Thank you so much. That was incredibly kind. And let me just tell you, by sending me that kind of money, if God had a wallet, your picture would probably be in it.
Thank you, AZ. Now send me the number.
This kid,
I
he was a
texted
good
it
welder.
to you.
Oh, you did?
And he was proud. He'd always look at that. I'm like, yeah, well, I can't weld like that. Mine looks like chicken shit, dude. You're good.
Yeah, you said that he was pretty skilled. Like for his age, he was really skilled. So
Musically skilled.
Skilled.
He knew about a lot of different things, and it kind of blew me away. At 19, all the stuff he knew. I don't know where he learned that from, his grandpa or his dad or whoever. I don't know, but I have to think at about 17, he has his own business.
everybody's so curious about this militia.
Here, this is where he outs
Hold
himself.
on, hold on.
You're going to call him? Right, watch.
Hello? Hello?
The administrative state, Justice Thomas has been writing.
Hello? 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 He's got something playing. I don't know what it is.
Probably your show.
No, it's a guy.
It could be, let me hear.
Hold on.
Oh, I know what that is, Laura.
What is it?
It's a movie called Brokeback Mountain.
You're an idiot. I think he did but answer. I'll try it again.
what answer? Can we stay away from the gay stuff, please? Be more professional.
Has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
Okay. I just got a very interesting text that said the only reason he did this interview is he thought that this guy was in drag.
Such an ass. And guys, let me just say there was no point in listening to someone's TV. There was just no point. I wasn't going to sit there for an hour listening to someone's TV. I'll try calling back in a few.
Group hurt.
Oh, we had to go into that, huh?
Yeah, I just,
Thing is a bunch of fabricated bullshit. So I need to say anymore?
Nope.
We all follow the tweakers around. When they're moving, they're up to no good.
Hold on, Laura, we got to do this from the beginning. This is extremely important.
Thank you, AZ.
AZ Nation with them fat pockets. Look at AZ Nation. God, what a generous woman. AZ Nation, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step, and I would take that journey with you. Now, listen, Laura, I got to explain something to you. This is a very important part of this conversation. And after this, other than the gay thing, there's really not much else on this. It's totally flat. But what I'm going to tell you is she says about the militia, the vigilante group, he adamantly denies it and says it's bullshit. But we have to. Then he goes on to say how they have to police everybody. Go ahead and listen.
This came up.
Might want to back it up.
Because a welder usually makes $30, $40 an hour. And this kid, he was a good welder. He was damn good at welding. And he was proud. He'd always look at that. I'm like, yeah, I can't weld like that. Mine looks like chicken shit, dude. You're good.
He said that he was pretty skilled. Like for his age, he was really skilled. So
Amazingly skilled. Really, he knew a lot about a lot of different things, and it kind of blew me away. At 19, all the stuff he knew. I don't know where he learned that from, his grandpa or his dad, or whoever. I don't know, but you know, I have to think at about 17, he has his own business.
everybody's so curious about this militia group, Kurt.
Oh, we got to go into that, huh?
Yeah, I just,
So nice.
Thing is a bunch of fabricated bullshit. So I need to say anymore?
Nope.
We all follow the tweakers around. When they're moving, they're up to no good. Because they don't have jobs. They're not going to a job. They're going to scope out somebody's property they're going to rip off that night. So when we see them moving, we move and try to find what they're up to. Whose place they're going to hit that night. Is that called militia? I don't think so.
No, it's called a vigilante group. It's called a
Wow.
vigilante group. I said militia. It's a vigilante group. It's semantics. He's tooling around. And listen to what he says. There's a bunch of people that don't have jobs out here. Hey, Kurt, that's you. You haven't worked since this kid went missing. And, you know, I mean, that is exactly what I was told. And I must have got half a dozen phone calls from people that said, see, we told you so. He just admitted him and his bums were going around town policing it. I wish, you know what? I'd like to go into town and steal something from Kurt and see what he would do about it. And garbage.
Roberts.
Watch, because several times they've asked me, why are you following me? Because you see that sign down there? What does it say? Neighborhood watch. We're all watching.
Neighborhood watch from a guy who doesn't even own some of the property out there. Neighborhood watch by a bunch of squatters. Usually neighborhood watch is conducted in meetings. You make a phone call. You're not tooling around in the desert with tons of guns, which, by the way, his neighbor just got caught with an arsenal. Hell, if the Ukraine would go to this town and get the guns that were in that guy's house, Russia would be done. This is amazing. This guy basically says everything that I've been saying for the last month right here in front of this lady, and she doesn't know how to get out of it.
Yeah,
And
but
it's
they want to.
amazing.
But he's calling it a neighborhood watch, but really they're just watching over all the meth labs.
Neighborhood watch, date rapists, same thing.
I caretake probably 15 properties out here for people because they trust me. They know I'm not going to take their shit, but I'm going to keep an eye on it. When I go there, I take pictures and I say, yeah, everything's good. Here's a picture. And they're glad to hear that because I have properties that I have to go to myself and wonder if I'm going to find a mess or I'm going to find my place is all still locked up. It's all good. Every time I go, it's almost like torture because I'm thinking, man, I've been there for a week. I just pray to God I'm going to find everything in order, and it has been. Thank God. But some of the other places, I see other people go to their place, locks broke off. Somebody's going to their place. All I can do is take a picture of it, call them, and say, "What do you want to do? You want to report this to sheriff? Well, what's missing? Well, I don't know what you had. I've never been in your house. The locks broke off. I don't know what you had. You got to come here. You got to figure out what they took, and if you had some guns or something here, that's well, no, I never end up guns there. Well, they have to take $1,500 for the stuff, or it really cannot even matter to the cops. So
if it's under 1,500, the cops are like, yeah, we're not coming out.
Right, and usually the people just say, well, can you get my place locked back up again and call it good? And maybe take some pictures inside. They scramble the place. Oh yeah, they always do that. They scramble. They just take drawers and dump them over. And they make a big mess, and they take what they want and they leave.
Yeah, so it really was kind of up to you guys to protect your stuff.
That kind of pissed me off because they've never hit me, not yet. But believe me,
they haven't.
4 or 5 places that I can.
Now tell me why this guy hasn't been able to work in 35 days.
Because he doesn't have that young boy to pay him, and it's AZ Native. I am so sorry, AZ Native. Thank you so much. You are a wonderful woman. And when God closes a door, he opens a window, and I would squeeze through that window with you, AZ Native. So thank you so much. And
what if AZ Native is a guy?
Yeah, I don't care. AZ Native is a phenomenal human being. AZ Native is a great person.
Hold on, I'm going to try again.
Has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
Hey Kurt, my name is Laura. If you can give me a call back.
Is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up.
Hold on.
More options.
Hold on, I'm going to text him.
Unbelievable. Hey, listen, I'm going to be on this show here for about another 20 minutes. I prolonged it 20 more minutes. Tomorrow night on this program, you're available, right, Laura?
Yes.
Tomorrow night on this program, we will have a very special guest that nobody else has had, I promise you. And I've got a couple of other bullets in the chamber. So even though we didn't get it done tonight because I want to make sure that it doesn't come off half-cocked like this BS we're watching right now, well, we'll get into that. But immediately following this at 8:15, I think that's West Coast time, so it'll be 11:15 East Coast time. I will be jumping over to, what's that guy's channel? Doug, what's his channel called?
No Thanks.
I will be going right over to No Thanks to go over a couple of other conversations and look through this a little bit more. And you're more than welcome to join me, but I got to get in my car and drive all the way to LA, and it's going to take me at least 15 minutes to get there.
All right. Sweet. So you fucked me tonight, basically.
No, I'm setting you up for tomorrow.
All right. Yeah, but you were supposed to set this up for today.
Listen, how old are your children? You said 17 and what?
17, 17, and 14.
Okay, your kids are 17, which is roughly the age he was when he was out there. You have a boy that's 17, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well,
Would you let him, if he said, hey, even a year from now, if he says, hey, mom, I'm going to go sleep over, and forget what Kurt looks like or his family, I'm going to go sleep over my buddy Dale's house for the next couple of nights, or he was making frozen pizza in a 60-year-old man, what would you ask him? Would you question him about that? I don't know. I don't have kids.
no, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't allow it.
You wouldn't allow it?
No, I
Why
wouldn't allow
not?
it. What do you mean why? Because it's gross.
Why?
Because it just is. There's no reason.
So there is nothing in the world that leads you to believe that it was a platonic relationship and this kid was just hanging out with his 60-year-old buddy in the desert. So what are you saying?
No, because he had a father. He did. It's not like he didn't have a male role model. He had a male role model. There's no reason why he needed to hang out with this guy all the time. See, and the other thing is he kept saying, oh, he would go home, that he was messy, so he would go home. Go home where? Go home to his trailer? Or did he mean go home back to his mom? There's just no reason for him to sleep over.
Well, we have people in the chat room right now that have teenage kids. I mean, let's make it a girl. If you had a 19-year-old daughter and a 60-year-old guy, would that be any better? Is that better or worse?
That's worse.
That's worse?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So your son calls you from football camp next year and says, hey, I'm going to stay with Coach Jensen this weekend. Jensen's 60 and single.
Well, if he's a coach.
Oh, coaches can't be gay? Coaches don't molest kids?
Of course they can. But, I mean, it all depends on the circumstance. Is he staying there alone? Is there a lot of people staying there? There's a million different circumstances.
Yeah. Football coach, math teacher. I wouldn't have any of my kids spending the night. And you know what? No 60-year-old man should want a teenage boy staying over his house unless it's for a little, unless they're going to watch Captain Jack Sparrow for the butt pirate stuff.
And I agree with that, though. I do. I absolutely agree with that. But my son would kick his ass. So there's that.
And by the way, you know what? I'm glad you said that because there's a couple of old bats in the chat room talking shit. Like I couldn't rip Kurt Wadsworth's arms off his body. Like he's a 60-year-old man who doesn't realize his glory days are probably 40 years past him. If you put me in that town with every single knucklehead in the Wadsworth family, I promise you I walk out or you're at my funeral. Those guys are not the real thing. I've seen the real thing. They're far from it. Trust me, it's not about talking hefty. These guys are scarier than they look, and they would not be in this situation if they weren't preying on teenagers. Trust me.
Sandra said, watch out, Jim. She's a math teacher and would never have any kind of student over her house. So there's that.
Okay.
There was something I was going to ask you. Oh, is Dylan friends with Kurt?
Which Dylan? Berg?
Not Rounds. Dylan Berg.
Berg. Well, his family has a financial connection to them. They lease him the property. That's their source of income for rent. So yeah, they flip-flop a lot. Sure.
So would Dylan have information on Kurt?
Dylan Berg came on a show and she references it here and said the guy had red lipstick on. And then he says he might have been eating spaghetti or cookie. And then he says, well, no, it was a little bit more than that. And I'll talk to you after the show. And then he talks about the militia group. Then Dylan Berg also talks about him being held captive. So he's already done that. But they flip-flopped and his mom flip-flopped. Don't forget, they have a financially vested interest in this guy.
Okay. But you don't know they flip-flopped.
They've done it on radio. They've done it on the show.
Whose show?
Tons of other shows. They've been on tons of other shows with me, the Bergs.
I only knew of one.
I think they were, well, when I mean tons of other shows, I mean not different creators, several shows of the same creator.
Okay. And what are the odds that Dylan hurt Dylan?
Dylan Berg is like 6'1", 120 pounds. He's got half a lung. He has some medical condition, and he's not that kind of guy. He was held captive in his own house by his brother a little while back. So no, they're not that kind of people. Hell, I'd be more scared of Ellenberg than I would Dylan Berg.
Okay. Yeah, I spoke to Dylan last night because I was going to say, if they were friends, I was going to call Dylan and have him three-way Kurt.
Well, why don't you call him up? See what he has to say. He'll take your call. He wants to plug it. He has some sort of cryptocurrency he's plugging. I mean, these people with these YouTube channels plugging stuff continuously. I mean, I even saw one guy that's got a PayPal now, and it's paypal.com/PayPal me, Jim Terry PI. This woman's interview it did more harm than good. It did more harm than good. And it's sad. What a wasted opportunity. The only one that thinks he did a good job is the guy on the phone. That's it. Let me ask him questions. 30 minutes. Stay in the tank with me, Kurt. 30 minutes. Bring your brother. I want to do it on a live stream, one-on-one. We'll do it right here, $1,000. Stay in the tank with me here 30 minutes. We'll ask you some questions. And they're not going to be these set-up softball, preconceived.
Yeah, but you're assuming that he's going to tell you the truth. He's going to lie.
It would be interesting to see him do that. He'd have to sit in here for 30 seconds or for 30 minutes. Let him lie. Your viewers and your listeners are smart enough to see through the bullshit.
And I agree with you. I'm just saying, though, he's going to lie. I'm just saying, though, that he's going to lie.
Let him lie. Let him lie. I want to see what he looks like when I ask him about dating men. I want to see what his facial expressions are when I ask him about wearing makeup. I want to see what his facial expressions are when I bring his son on and his son says, Dad, remember when we found all your butt sex toys in a trunk? Who's Tiffany Goodman?
The mother, I said the same thing about the mother, that I do not trust the mother. Everything has been done behind her back. The land, Jim, and she runs Jim off, telling you she knows something. I don't disagree with that.
Tiffany Goodman is an incredibly smart woman, and it's good to see her putting a photo up of her and her father. What a nice lady.
Such a dick. All right. Hold on.
This guy's a trip. Him and his mom start fighting when they're on the phone. It's incredible.
No answer. You got Candace's number? Yeah, you got Candace's number.
I don't have her number.
Oh, you really don't?
No, not with me.
What do you mean not with you?
She didn't hire me. I didn't talk to her regularly. Her and I spoke maybe half a dozen times. You make it sound like we were together.
Well, you called her on that call.
When?
The call that...
Yeah, 3 weeks ago. I mean, I don't have the number in front of me. If I did, I'd give it to you. I don't have it. I'd have to dig it up.
I'm trying to call the entire family. Nobody's answering.
Why don't you take... Who's that?
What?
Oh, that's a dog barking. What kind of dog is that?
That's a Maltese.
Want to take a couple of calls? I got to shoot out of here in 10 minutes.
Yeah, if they want to call.
All right, go ahead and call in, guys. Maybe you got some questions about this. Tiffany Goodman. Look at Tiffany Goodman.
Phoenix, let the dog out. What I want to do, I want to call people in the area that know about stuff. That's what I want. I don't care if they're directly connected. I want to talk to people that know what's going on there.
I have people right now texting me and calling me, thinking that the picture that I held up yesterday
Was your son?
of Jason Bateman from the show Ozark, they're chastising me on my text message. What's wrong with you? You're a terrible private investigator. That guy's an actor. No shit.
Hold on, Cinnamon Bear, nobody's desperate. And you know what? You just won yourself a trip. Bye-bye.
Who's desperate? What did I miss?
An asshole.
Well, listen, there's a lot of assholes in Blair, Nebraska. Let me tell everybody in the chat and listening to this show while we're waiting on a call about Blair, Nebraska. Blair, Nebraska recently had a disease ravage that town, a disease that no other town of its ilk has ever seen before. And the disease is that of a very strong personality that some of us may know from the internet. So what I need everybody to do is pray for Blair, Nebraska, pray for the people there, the neighbors there, and make sure that if anybody ever goes through that town, they do everything they can to help the people there of that ravaged city of Blair, Nebraska. By the way, there's a little kid lives down the street, kind of looks up to me, and he made me this sign.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he made me a sign today, and he made this. Here we go, right here. He made this sign, and he wanted me to have it on the show. So here we go. Sleuth man. Sleuth man, right there. Sleuth man. That may be mine. I'm shopping around ideas for YouTube channels. I may be going by the name Sleuth Man. As long as that's not taken or nobody gets anything confused. But one thing I won't do is a show based out of Blair, Nebraska. Any calls?
No, nothing. I guess nobody wants to talk to you.
Well,
Peace.
listen,
You
it's
better
been
not screw
fun.
anymore. Let me tell you guys what Jim does, okay? So Jim calls me with this, he's bringing on this one, he's bringing on that one, set it up, set it for 9:30. Okay, no problem. Within an hour, after he tells me set it up.
No, I
Because
can't hear.
I don't
I
have
can't
a
hear a
dick.
word this broad is saying.
Because I don't have a dick, he then goes on to another channel and runs his mouth saying, "Oh,
No, I'm
well,
not doing anything right now.
oh, well, don't worry
Right.
about it because I have this guy and this girl that want to come on." This is not even an hour after he sets this up with me. I'm like,
Okay.
were you dropped on your fucking head as a
Yeah.
baby? Who does that? Nobody does that. If you set
Okay.
a show with
Tomorrow?
someone, you stick it there. You're not going to avoid this.
All right. God bless. Take care. I just got a call, and you ain't gonna believe who that was.
Who?
That call was the call you've been waiting for, and the person on the other.
He's such a liar. Such a liar. There's a missed call. Thank you, Joseph.
Please leave your message for
Okay, whoever just called me, I guess didn't want to talk to me. So, yeah, Jim's crazy, but it is who he is. He's paranoid. Yeah, no, he's definitely has his own personality. Yeah, he's full of shit. That's just Jim. He's full of shit. But I couldn't believe he did that to me this morning. I was like, you just told me that they were coming on tonight, and then you totally dissed out. And somebody, as far as somebody says that you pay for interviews, I will never pay for an interview. There's very few people I would ever pay for an interview with. Nikki Sixx of Motley Crue, John Travolta, or Ken Kratz. I know if you're not familiar with Making a Murderer, you don't know. If you are, you're probably laughing your ass off. But for the most part, yeah, I don't pay for interviews. Thank you, Amber. Just can't take him serious. Exactly. Kerr mentioned water jet. Yeah. Do you want me to continue to play it? I believe he said he was going on no thanks. I don't want to overlap and interrupt. Yeah, I would pay for Nikki 6. Let's go down with it. No, but Kyle, he made it out this morning like he had it, like it was done, sealed, and delivered. So that's why. Okay. Hold on. This is the email somebody's been trying to get to me. Oh, yeah. I don't care about stuff like that, Abby. I really don't. I've seen that group before. Jim is definitely a used car salesman. Oh, no thanks went on an hour ago. Oh, well. Weird specific to mention if Dylan was being held captive. I agree with you. Yeah, it is a voice of Ursula, but I might pay for an interview with him. I mean, not anymore. I would have then. I definitely would have then. Oh, Lady Bud, new subscriptions are on the new site. I meant to tell you that. I got to send an email out to everybody. But since you're here, I'm telling you. No thanks is on in 5 minutes. Okay. And the only other thing I want to talk about has to do with Summer Wells and that nonsense. So I'm going to say that. I'm going to touch on that real quick because I was watching my girl Tiffany, and I have said from day one, I do not trust Jody Sue. I do not like Jody Sue. I think she's a liar and a fraud and an attention seeker. And I've said this from day one. So now there's new drama, and I got news for you. I still don't like her. I still don't trust her. And now she just solidified why I never liked her in the first place. So people can believe her, or when she comes up with this ridiculous story a year later, bitch, sit down. So yeah, done. I wanted to say that too. I'm cramming everything in 5 minutes. The guy asks a million questions, never lets people answer them. Okay. Almost like seen it before. She's very unstable. I agree. Special guest on 2 different channels, going back to back. Yeah, but we didn't have a special guest. He's saving it for tomorrow. I know, Anita. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Like, I can't even believe that people are thinking that it's okay or that it might be real. It is a blatant lie. And it's sick that I just can't with it. My mistake of identification wrong. It says no goes on in 30, and that was a while ago. No matter what you uncovered about your kid, it's going to come out in a big hit. I agree with that too. Still, it's more than you think, Anita. More than you think, and I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. People giving her exactly pink butterfly. Like, why? She blatantly lied, and she came up with this ridiculous theory a year later. Oh my God, I can't. I just can't. It's not okay. It's unfair to you. What's unfair to me? There's my meth lab. Yeah, I'll go over and see what it's about. After I eat something. I want to eat something. But I'll go over and check it out. Like I said last night, I don't have ill feelings towards No Thanks. That's his channel. He doesn't want anybody, playing his stuff. I can't help it. He is what it is. Dr. Fluffer. There is no sparks. He's a male chauvinist. He truly is a male chauvinistic pig. Joking or not, he just is. I think CW, who's CW? CW Chris Watts? What's CW? She clarified, she said, oh no, she didn't say possibly. You want to hear the clip? I'll play what Tiffany didn't want to play. I got no problem with the Gemini slacker. I would gladly pay what Tiffany didn't want to play. Thank you, Cosmic. We do have good banter, Nikki. I won't deny that. Oh, Susie Q, you didn't hear it? You didn't see it? Oh my God, it's bad. Hang on. So guys, just so you know, if you're not, we're switching to Summer Wells right now in the Summer Wells case. Put a 1 if you have seen this clip of Jody Sue and the drug use. Who sent it? All right, I know who sent it. Oh.
To my email.
All right. You haven't seen it? All right, check this out.
Let me check it.
All right. Well, that's good. Y'all look over and ask why exactly it is he's selling drugs to the children at 110.
So now all of a sudden, a year later, Andy is selling drugs to children. Now, mind you, for the longest time, Andy just sold pot.
Why he was potentially causing little girls over there to be sedated and to be touched with the shit he was selling.
He's causing little girls to be touched and sedated so they can be touched. Mind you, this is a year later. Jody Sue.
Over there. Go ask. Because I have fucking questions. I'm not standing in front of him anymore. Yeah. And I found about a few days before all the shit went down. I'm not kidding, dude. And I got fucking receipts on it.
I'm not kidding you. I got receipts. Really? Where's the receipts? I love when people fucking say that. Show the receipts then. You have no receipts. You're a fucking liar, as I've always said.
And I'm sure law enforcement does as well.
And there's people in chat just believing it.
He had known Summer was also being abused, and he hid it from everybody, including me. And he was very much selling drugs to the children at 110.
He was bringing stolen goods to the kids or something?
And he was very much selling drugs to the children at 110. And
oh, he was bringing up drugs or something to the kids at 110. Okay. And this didn't come out for a year.
To Candace for those children. Now what?
And he did this for Candace.
But all that was, I don't know. But I do know it was happening. And I very much think it plays a role.
Okay. But you knew what was happening. Okay. So you knew what was happening. And now you're going to tie it. Yeah. Okay.
And what was happening to other little girls over there. And I very much do think that it could be part of why Summer looked so asleep. Is maybe possibly Candace giving her the shit Andy was selling to her. So go ask.
Different Candace, guys.
I still have fucking questions.
You still have questions, but you wait a year later. Okay.
And I think that it was occurring since before the Utah trip. It is part of why Josie was taken to Utah.
And now she's saying that this is the reason Josie was taken to Utah. Okay.
Even though that was kind of a fucking lie.
Exactly, Gemini. Where's the possibly? Yeah, it doesn't exist.
Right? Why he went to Utah. But it's Amy's fault. And Candace's. You remember Candace saying Josie was, or Allie, or one of them talking about how Josie was using, and that was the reason he was taken. It's not the reason Josie was taken out.
See, Mallory, was it you that said that in Tiffany's chat? I 100% will agree with that. If that's the case, that she's just mad Andy got on some lady's panel. And I heard somebody tell Tiffany, you should get Andy on her channel. I think she should. Thank you, Abby. I think she should, because she's so close to Jody Sue that she would be the one, or AB would be the one to interview him. This is from last night. I believe, Gemini, this is last night, right? Or Mallory, this is from last night.
But shit occurring around that time is why. He's responsible for it from before Utah until. So you go ask him why he was selling drugs to those children and to Candace for the children. Go ask. And ask him what type other than weed.
It out. Oh, hot dogs.
And now Penny says to her, I hope Ellie gets you some protection. Protection from what?
Some of it. Because there's a lot more to it. And law enforcement, Chris, others are very much aware of other pieces that go into that. It's why one of the little girls, I think that around Utah, I think they were being given what Andy was selling, and I think it was used for very, very bad shit.
She's not really saying anything. She's just running her mouth. Yeah, she does mumble heavily, but she's just running her mouth about what all these horrible things Andy has done, which she has never said anything before. It's absolutely ridiculous. Of course I was right. I had this girl pegged from the beginning.
Although I don't know if you know.
Thank you, Dr. Fluffer.
But I know he had a feeling like I did. There was little one, something was happening to him over there. That's why I started digging. And then shit got weird.
Something about now she's all shook up.
So. Oh, Carmen's having a moment. She's watching her live.
So now she starts crying with her PayPal link right up on top.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to mention that in a minute. Actually, let me do this now so I don't forget. So last night, because there's also a lot of rumors about this, last night or early morning, anyone that followed the Gabby Petito case, and yes, I have to eat my foot. Anyone that followed the Gabby Petito case, Doug from Northport, you know, the guy that drove around that found that guy in the woods, his ex-girlfriend's boyfriend or something, who's also another YouTuber, beat the shit out of him and put him in ICU. Iqbal had reported this morning that his family announced he was out of ICU and he woke up. So he will be okay. There's been rumors like, oh, he's dead and all this other. No, he woke up this morning and he is okay. He is going to be okay. So.
Because I like everyone else with like answers.
Saying your children's father was selling drugs to your neighbor's children and also selling drugs to the adults to use on children so they could be touched is a bit over the top, even if you're mad. I agree with that. But it's not only that, Cheyenne. Hey, Robin, it's not only that, Cheyenne. Think about it, though. This wouldn't come out a year prior. This isn't something that you would tell the police immediately. I mean, like, someone came out, I'm not going to mention names, but a couple of people came at me in Tiffany's chat. How do I know she's lying? Because it is so blatantly obvious she's lying. Because one, this would have come out in the past. Two, she would have told the police. Three, she's just mad. Like, she's mad at him. You don't put something out there that your ex is a pedophile. You don't put something out there that your ex is dealing drugs to children to sedate them of a missing girl. You just don't do that. Like, there's a certain line that you don't cross. That's one of them. That's a major one. Thank you, Rachel.
I'm just going to unsubscribe after. Who has to sub? Did I put it on subscribers only?
Was that Tiffany's voice?
This motherfucker is really wearing my goddamn shirt on that camera. He's really wearing my fucking shirt. Okay. And this son bitch done really went. I think I go home like 6, somewhere close to 6:30. See? That's what I'm dealing with. Fucking dopehead. Can't even remember what the fuck. It's fine. Whatever. Anyway.
Marcel, I have members. Can someone drop a member link, please?
Not my problem. All right. So,
I know, Robin.
Anyway.
Oh, Krama Mama. Thank you, Bonnie. And that was it. But I don't like her. I don't trust her. I never liked her. I never trusted her. Like Tiffany was saying, nobody should attack her. And I agree with that. I think the woman is severely mentally ill. And I just do. I don't, I haven't been following it that much because I've been with the Dylan Round stuff. But from what I can see, she's not getting attention. She's probably not getting money. Tiffany and AB don't have her on all the time. And I think she wanted to create something that sounded good, that'll get her attention, that'll get her what she wants. And I don't know. Thank you, Rachel. I don't know what happened with Tiffany's live. They talked about Tiffany's live. Yeah, they could arrest her husband. That's serious shit. Welcome, Marcel. Oh, you think it may have been Ziggy? Like, I heard there was some kind of drama between her and Chasing Truth. So, like, I have not been following that. Susie Q, I totally agree. But I guess there was some drama that I missed. And that's what Tiffany was saying, don't attack her on. And Karmic, what do you mean he sold out to Doug? My guess for tomorrow are on Doug's? Because I'll never speak to Jim again, if that's the case. Doug and I will cut ties. Not Doug. Jim and I will cut ties. Thank you, Marcel. But is that what happened between Chasing Truth and Tiffany or something? I know Jim's on Doug's. Oh, all right. Lisa Santa Wadsworth. Yeah. Hey, Amanda. Although you dislike someone you don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't harass her. Hey, Buka. I wouldn't harass her based on. Ow. Can I give Buka love? Based on, I think she's severely mentally ill. You want to say hi to everyone? Ugh, I got lipstick on. You're going to get color. He is allowed to get love, you know. He's so jealous. Oh my God. What? You're so jealous. You like Jim. Should have named you Jim. He's so jealous, though. Can you say hi? What? What? Why are you so jealous? Why are you so jealous? This is Fluffer. What? What? Aw. I gotta get my hair cut for a weekend trip. What? You want your belly rubbed? What? My baby? My little baby. And that's it. That's really all I had tonight. What? Kurt never texts me back or call me back. He's a purebred Maltese. I just don't get my hair cut like a Maltese because I think it's ugly. What? Chase Truth is all class. I had no problem with her. I actually liked her until the fight with somebody. And then she blocked me. And I haven't spoken to her since. I'm new to your channel. Found you dual rounds. I'm loving your courage. Your panels, but the best is Jim Terry. Not only do I love him, you guys have the best dynamics. Thank you, Gypsy. I love Tyler. I do. Am I a man? I am. You found me out. But chicken, you know what? You just won a trip. You just won a one-way ticket. Bye. Or as Miss Porter would say, bye, bitch. What locals about to talk? I know. I really have to have the time to get a hold of them. My goal is to be blocked by all of them. But that's it. Yeah, to get the fuck out of here, aisle. That was good, Carmick. I like that. Hey, Coffee. Tyler seems to, he really is. And Jim's all like, I don't know if I like being on a panel. I can't curse. Sometimes I just want to curse. See, Tyler keeps me not cursing. I adore Tyler. He got attacked unnecessarily yesterday. I'm afraid he won't have Jim on anymore. Nah, Tyler's got pretty tough skin. He really does. He's got tough skin. He should have had Dylan Berg. He wouldn't. He wouldn't talk more. He didn't want to talk more. You know, people get weird. He really is a kind guy. I really like him. And I always did. Like I said, I met him during the Petito case. He had me on panel. I was like, guys, I'm going on a pastor's panel. But let me tell you what I seriously love about Tyler. It's not a secret that I'm an atheist. I've never hid that. I've never hid it from him. And he's never once tried to preach to me. He's never once tried to throw God at me. That's what I like about him. I think that's what really Because the first time we ever met, I told him I'm an atheist. He's never once tried to push his religion. He's never once tried to push God. Like that's what I really respect him for that. He is one of a kind. I agree. Does anyone know about Dylan Brown's neighbor? Get it? Yeah, it's really not connected, Jen. Yeah, it really is. That's the one thing that if, just like I would never push my atheism on anybody, like I'll talk to people about it if they ask, but that's it. And he's never once tried to. And I just adore him for that. He does help people in need. 20,000 last month? What, that he gave away? If anything, I think maybe Brenner is dragnetted in Kate. Yeah, I don't even think he knows anything. Oh yeah, he's a good guy. Some people, not everyone, he's not everyone's cup of tea because he doesn't curse. He's very mellow. He's just like one of those good guys, Right, Fluffer? It's like the feds are putting the squeeze on the locals. I'm telling you guys, it's because of the meth labs. That is all meth labs. I would guarantee it. You wouldn't need yeah, but think about it. Look at the land they're in. Why would they need, modern day firearms? These are all rednecks. They don't need modern day firearms. They're not killing animals. They're just using it for protection. And whether you have a muzzle loader in your face or a shotgun in your face or a pistol in your face, you're still scared. When he had said the black muscle load or whatever, I'm like with you, Joseph. I totally thought that it was I thought of Don. I was surprised to see him in here, Michelle. I really was. I agree with you, Lori Arnold. Who's Lori Arnold? Hung in there with the locals. Yeah, I was surprised too. I saw that too, Robin. I was a little shocked. Black powder. Thank you. I think the feds know what it's about, but don't forget, they're not always, a lot of times they look the other way too. Don't let anybody surprise you. They do look the other way. Local cops will look the other way based on, is there something to this? Is there a reason for this? How much money are you bringing back to the community? A lot of times feds work with undercovers, and know what's going on. And that's another thing I thought of, which I forgot to bring up. Maybe Dylan was working undercover and got busted. Maybe the feds were hiring Dylan to be a rat or to, take down this, meth facilities and got caught. We don't know. We just don't know. Could be why they don't have a press conference. It could be why they're involved. There's a lot of possibilities. And they can't let anyone know that maybe Dylan was working for them. Maybe Kurt's working for them. Maybe somebody's working for them. There's just so much more that we may never know. If the feds think it's bigger and involves other bigger fish, and the feds will let it go for a while until more is exposed. Or they can't get busted that Dylan was working. You can't really overdose from meth unless you eat it. Way to clean up your neighborhood, let them nuke each other. That's very true, Willow. You need to be replaced. There's so much going on in that town. It's sad for any decent people who are trying to live honestly. But is anyone there trying to live honestly? That's the other question. you know, but I thought of that too. Is it possible that he was working for the feds? Is it possible Kurt's working for the feds? Bye, Susie. I'm shutting down in a minute anyway. I gotta eat something. FBI, I need a really solid cake, and I gotta make candles. I have a bunch of orders that I gotta get done before the weekend. And don't forget, you want to support and you want an amazing candle, energycandles.com. ENERGIE. If we could all be like Tyler, the world would be a better place. Amen to that. We don't know if Dylan was into drugs. You see, that's the thing too, Adriana. We don't know anything about Dylan. We know he was a slob. That we know. But, you know, that's what Kurt said. He was messy. We don't even know if it's true. We have no idea. Hey, Grandma Rose. We just don't know. Might be true, might not be true. He might be this great guy. He might not be this great guy. He may be a kingpin. He may not be a kingpin. DB and Kurt said he wasn't into drugs. Okay. But if they said he was, and they're running drug meth labs, they're not going to say he's into drugs. They're going to say, no, he didn't do drugs. It's just so many possibilities. It is very well said. It's like a big empty, because it really is. We just don't know. All right, hold on. Thank you to the person that sent me an email about the people search. Thank you. I will definitely look into it. Yeah, but every small area has a small airport. I mean, you can find airports everywhere. I'm sure the FBI is working multiple cases. They're not focused on one case. Oh, you want to get down? Say bye-bye, everyone. Say bye-bye. Camera shy. Say bye-bye. He hates the camera. So, all right, I'm going to get off, though, because I do have candles to make, and I got orders to fill, and I got to get to the post office tomorrow, and I got to pack, and going away for the weekend with the kids. Still saying, Mom, Candace knows more than she's letting on. Maybe. Dayton came home from football camp. He is burnt, totally burnt to a crisp. And then next week, he's away all week. Thank God. All right, so I will see you guys later. Head over to Doug's. I guess Jim's on. I don't know what they're talking about, but it's about Dylan Rounds, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Jim says we're on for tomorrow night, so we will be here tomorrow night. And one thing I learned about Jim, though, is that he can't seem to hold on to something. He gets too excited, and he has to blast it. So hopefully he will come through tomorrow, hopefully. And he doesn't, blow this tonight or something, because that's what Jim does. But you heard it out of his own mouth. I don't want anyone to think like, it was clickbait or anything like that. So I will see you guys later. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful night. And I'll be up because, like I said, I got candles to make. And I will see you guys later. Peace.